Hey everyone, my name is Brent. In August of 2025, I began trading for a living, and I was living in Hawaii on the island of Oahu at that time, and I moved to West Michigan to be in the Eastern Standard Time Zone at the end of August, a little bit around the end, and now it is October 25 2025. So we got the 25th of 2025. It's a Saturday, and this is my, I guess, ninth episode of the real life trading report, which I decided to do before I left Oahu. And exactly why I decided to do it or what my goal was, other than talking about this journey, that's about all I kind of remember at the moment. And so, real life trading report, it was just supposed to be talking about what I've been doing in the trading world, trying to, I think what I was doing, or attempting to do, is give myself an outlet to be talking about this stuff and see if it would be fun to kind of document the journey. I tried um, doing them like with a cell phone facing like a selfie video, I guess it'd be called, and tried them in giving it a variety of backgrounds. And today I'm doing this background. So yeah, trading for a living. It it's it is it's great. Really, actually, it is great. I don't really know if it'd be great for everyone though, because I think everyone can and should be actively doing something in the stock market, regardless of whether they really like the stock market or not, just because of what's going on in 2025 and what's going to be happening going forward. And if you say, well, what are you talking about? What's going to be happening? Well, we look kind of at the past and what's going on today, and we're looking at the past, seeing what's going on today, kind of have an idea of what's going on in the future. Yeah, because of all that stuff, whatever it is, and oh, start a part-time company. I'm gonna pass on starting a part-time company right now because I don't want to take a loan out to start a part-time company right now. And I think everybody should be active in the stock market to some degree, but not everyone necessarily should be trading for a living. Just like we could say not everybody should be a lawyer for a living, or not everyone should be a bartender for a living. There's um, there's a lot of jobs out there, and there's a lot of different people out there. So that's, I think, one reason why there are a lot of different jobs out there is because there's so many things that need to be done in society, and since it happens to put a lot of different choices out there, we as people we're able to do a little picking and choosing. Oh man, downsize. Dang, I hate getting downsized when I don't have enough cash on hand to pay that. If I would have, let's let me look into the crystal ball of hindsight. If I would not have been as greedy, and if I would have kept this to 1,000 shares instead of 1,500, I'd have enough money to pay. Dang. But you know what? Man, the I guess really what what I need to keep in mind is that yeah, I'm playing this game, but I'm going to focus on talking versus playing the game. So whatever. I know I got to pay off some loans over there. Ooh, okay. Shucks. You're probably saying, hey, you should have bought that. Yeah, maybe I should have. That would have been a big cash out. But, nonetheless, I got to get back to real life trading. And so not everyone should be um, trading for a living. And I'm not saying, maybe it might sound like I'm saying that I'm like setting it up with there's all these other jobs out there that people need to be doing, so not everybody should be trading for a living. That I see that it could sound like that. That's why I'm clarifying. And that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about not everyone would enjoy trading for a living. Not everyone would enjoy it. And some people might enjoy it, but some people might also find that there's other things that they enjoy more, so they would prefer to do these other things. So, it's to each their own, and it's something people have to find out for themselves if they are interested. But don't beat yourself up if you don't feel bad if you are interested in it. I don't think it's something that everyone should be interested in necessarily, or I can understand that not everyone would. It definitely fits some personalities more than others, just like all other occupations. All right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. And so I can't quite remember how many weeks ago it was. It might be getting close to 3 weeks. Maybe about 3 weeks ago, I 5 bucks. I'm gonna hold off on that for now. But you know what? What if I were to sell all these shares? I'd sell them now for $7,000, and then I'd be able to pay off these, to pay off the credit card. I'm definitely gonna pay off this loan. I can pay off the retail debt, and but or I could just sell. What if I don't sell the whole thing? What if I were to sell a little bit just to pay off this loan? I think I'm just gonna wait. $5. Just gonna wait because I'll probably get a bigger one a little bit later. So, ooh, I'm not doing the greatest job of staying on point of explaining what the real life trading stuff has been. Getting involved in this game, and I tell you what, that's real life for me. I love this game. I really, really love this game. Oh, payoff loan. I got okay. I don't have enough money to pay off the loan right now, so I got to get back to rolling, rolling, rolling. Oh, oh man, I didn't take the cash when the market handed it to me, and look at this, 2 for 1. I'm dramatically up. Oh, so it looks like I had a good split. Oh yeah, 3,000. Okay, good, good. Now that was a good move. I didn't sell those shares. So I took a pretty big position on Robinhood, and it's a longer term position. And with that position being added to my portfolio and just the whole dynamics of it, it really made a difference in my buying power. Because it's a big position, it's significantly changed my buying power, and now I'm reacclimating to see not just quote unquote get used to my new buying power, but I need to kind of figure it out. It's been maybe it's this is going on the third week. I can't quite remember, but so I'm still um, selling strangles. I'm really dialing in selling strangles on ServiceNow, which I have shared before, and I'm gonna really look into okay, if I have to, I'm going to I have been actively trading Tesla as well, but I have I was really thinking about dialing in CrowdStrike and ServiceNow, but I think I'm going to replace CrowdStrike with Tesla and dial in Tesla first because Tesla really has a lot better option chain, and I've just been trading it already a lot. In CrowdStrike, I think maybe I should keep looking at that, but if I could go back in time, I would have just picked Tesla, um, because of the option chain. But ServiceNow, this option chain is not nearly as good. It happens to be such so high price though that it helps something flow. If I were to take that loan, oh man, how much properties do I have? Then I'm just like in this. If I take a $2,000 loan, I'm just gonna take it, and then I'm gonna really, even though my now I'm in a negative cash flow, but what I'm going to do is I want to start repaying stuff as soon as possible. Mm, I should wait till I have a little more cash on hand though. Gotta repay. And I gotta get company or massive losses. Man, what easy come, easy go. That's not fun. Look at that. Back down to the same amount of shares. You know, gotta keep playing the game. I'm not buying at 20 bucks. So, and also what I'm doing is I'm definitely gonna pass on that. Is I'm When I first got here, once I really got internet established, I was really proactively day trading. 110. Holy moly. Yeah, I'll stay right there. And I'm going to continue learning, fine-tuning day trading. However, I'm going to on the actual real money trades, I'm going to really, I have already, and I'm going to continue to drastically slow down on the real money day trading until I get a more of a more of a oh man, I landed on it. I have money to buy it or what? Why didn't I just say buy it? I would have just won it like that, man. I can't believe I did that. Well, since I did that, I'm shutting that down. And that I guess where was it? I can't believe I landed on my dream. I probably had money to buy it, and I was too much thinking about something else, whatever that something else was. So yeah, that's I know it's really tangenty here. Having the day trade, like the overall, I've set up something for myself where basically I have uh I have been approaching trading with this idea in mind that all that there's different type of activities that one can do. And I'm going to do almost all of them. And I'm looking at it this way. There's certain activities that are really low maintenance, and usually they don't generate as much money, and they tend to be more capital intensive. All the way up to, like that being one side of the spectrum, the other spectrum being that there's certain type of things that can generate a whole heck of a lot of money, and they might not even take much money. They might be very little intensive on the capital, but yet they have a low probability of working out. And so there's a, I was taught about this way of starting with being heavily on the side that is going to um, have a higher probability of working, maybe more capital intensive, but it's since it's done in these higher probabilities, your portfolio is constantly growing, and then you're attempting to play the game of baseball with really strong singles, stronger doubles, but it gets like your strongest is the singles, and then the doubles, a little bit less, but still really strong, and then triples. You're trying to have it as strong as possible, but you realize like if you're super strong on the singles and really strong on the doubles, triples are going to be good, but you can pretty much load bases just like that. But having that single in there, and of course, the home run. But you really, if you're super strong on singles and doubles, and your triples are better than your home run, you don't really need like that great of home run or that much of home run. And of course, it's good to have it, but that wins games all the time. And then taking that analogy and kind of putting it into this portfolio thing where I think it does matter of like what it is you're trying to do with your portfolio. But from pretty much from the very beginning of me learning anything about the stock market, I went to my first stock trading. It was actually, I went to my first trading seminar already having been proactively pursuing some sort of financial independence. Right? I didn't want to have a job. I wanted to have some sort of activity going on that I didn't have to have a job, and it was paying my bills. And so I was trying real estate stuff at the time, and then I and because I was already trying real estate stuff, I was used to going to these seminars. I saw a stock option seminar, and I went to it. And it was a Rich Dad stock option seminar, and I was already going to this real estate stuff to some degree because of the Rich Dad company already. And so I go and kind of from day one of having been influenced by the Rich Dad company, I'm already like cash flow minded and already cash flow minded. And and so when I started learning about trading and this idea of like these high probability setups, and you have all these singles and focus on singles and doubles, then that's what I did. I realized at some point in my trading journey, I would be able to build strategies that were triples and home runs. And but based on the methodology that was originally at least held up for my consideration to build a portfolio a certain way, to have some structure, and which strategies to learn, and what percentage to be doing what strategies in your account and things of that nature. It made sense to me. I've stuck with it. I've gotten really good at selling options in a variety of manners, and have a decent enough monthly dividend portfolio built up that it put me in the position that I realized I was like, you know what? If I lowered my monthly expenses and I lived in the same time zone that the stock market trades in, if I could just sit in front of a computer and I didn't have to think about like, I gotta get up, I gotta take a shower, I gotta get dressed, I gotta get in my car, how far do I need to drive to work, and how far do I need where do I need to park at, and all these things. Like if I could totally eliminate that, any mental energy like that from my life, and I could put 100% of my mental energy on trading, I felt like, yep, that's it. And so I'm taking that leap of faith. I took that leap of faith. It put me here, and here I am, and so far it's working. So I'm at this point now where I'm going to keep heavy on the theta trading, and that big position I put um, on Robinhood, which, let me clarify, big for me, right? It might not be big for you. It might be really big for you. I'm not sure, but for me it's big, and so it is using up a lot of buying power, And so now I'm reacclimating to where my buying power is, and I'm going to keep strongly focusing, trying to see how much money I can squeeze out of service now every week on a weekly basis, and then also add Tesla to it. Have those two, look at having those to be my main short strangle stocks, and then I'm open. I know that that type of trading is if we're thinking about the risk profile of a type of trade, it's actually a pretty risky trade, and the reason why it's pretty risky is that on each of these stocks, I'm not in a position where I have enough money to have it be a cash secured short strangle. Now, what I mean by cash secured short strangle, in case you instantly don't know, is in my mind, a cash secured short strangle is when I have enough cash to fulfill the commitment of buying on the put side, but I also have enough cash that I can convert the short naked call into a covered call. I've got enough cash to buy 100 shares of the underlying stock and convert it into a covered call. So that way, if if my covered call, or the let's say my short call, starts getting into a problem, I'm not in a naked call position. I've converted to a short call. So with Tesla, I don't have enough money to do that, and with ServiceNow, I don't have enough money to do that. And so the risk profile of them is relatively large. So I feel like cash secured put options on some stocks, and some other, I shouldn't say, because I'm figuring it out. I'm figuring out what it's going to be. I got the dividends coming in, and then what other type of theta trading do I want? Maybe I'm just going to go from the dividends coming in, which is relatively would be considered a low, a low maintenance type of trade. That's probably like the lowest you can get. But then when you're in the monthly dividend space, there, like I've already experienced splits, reverse splits, or some sort of splits that weren't good for me, and I lost a pretty good amount of shares out of that. And also, not only that, but I've already had experienced dividend cuts, and uh, just the the monthly the monthly dividend space is good, and it's its own little niche. And I dove into it, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to learn by really getting in, and I'm just taking chances. And some of the chances didn't play out too well, and I'm learning more. I want to keep growing that part of my portfolio, but as far as just being safe, that's why I think the really more interested in selling cash secured put options on um, the dividend king stocks. So having that going on while I'm doing short strangles. However, the buying power always comes into play, because with the short strangles, it's really kind of like a buying power strategy, a buying power play. I don't really like using the word play, but that's kind of what people would call it, a buying power play, where it's not cash secured, it's buying power. So that's what's allowing it to be done. And what I'm doing is really managing the buying power of that. So if I'm selling cash secured put options and I get assigned, then that again changes my buying power. So that's it's not a bad problem actually. If I'm making it sound like it's an unanswerable problem, or it's a unovercomable type of problem, I have miscommunicated. It is a problem to overcome. It's a wonderful, fun challenge of trading for a living. For me, at least, this is one thing I'm loving about it. Loving solving this puzzle, solving the riddle, putting the puzzle together. Maybe you solve a puzzle, whatever the case may be. But it is good for me. It is really, 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 really good, enjoyable for me. And so that is what I've been doing. So going into this next coming trading week, I'm going to be I'm going to be selling I'm going to be selling strangles on ServiceNow and Tesla. I don't recommend that you do it. I definitely do not recommend that you sell naked naked strangles on ServiceNow or Tesla. Not definitely not a recommendation. What is a recommendation though is to learn how to sell cash secured put options first, then and then covered calls second, and then once you are proficient at selling at both of these things alone, which in a way they kind of go together simultaneously, but usually the, in this case we know what came first: the cash secured put option to assignment to covered call to assignment to cash secured put option, the wheel strategy. So we know in this case, the chicken or the egg scenario, we know which one. It's the put. Which came first, the put or the call? The put. And so there's that part. And then when you're proficient at those, then it makes sense if you want to learn how to sell strangles because they're basically selling a put and selling a call. Isn't that amazing? That's why I love the stock market. It can with the stock market in conjunction that since it has the options market, like because of that and all these different choices and techniques that it brings, it's just so amazing. So now I'm doing my own version of that, but instead of learning to sell a put, learning, to the wheel strategy or something like that, doing that, what I'm doing is I'm dialing in a strategy I already been working on, short strangles. And the next thing where I'm really slowing down is the day trading. So something it might not be really be I'm definitely slowing down the day trading, but what I might end up doing is I might end up focusing more on swing trading than day trading. And the reason why is the butterfly. That really is the reason why. The butterfly, that butterfly strategy is the reason why. I was trying to pull up something with some butterfly stuff, but that didn't really work out fast enough. So we'll do it right here. Now, this is not for sale or for distribution, but I will say this guy, I got this course from attending this guy's I got this ebook from attending this guy's course. So if you want to get a copy of this, I think you should go to the HonoluluOptionTraders.com and take the course. And this butterfly, this is why. Now, it seems that there's multiple ways to do butterflies. It does seem to be that. And so I'm going to what I might do, because what I am going to do is I am going to be learning a new strategy that is going to give me the potential to have higher ROIs. So I've got some strategies already developed, bread and butter type strategies where I feel like I have that bread and butter consistent theta income coming in. So now the sort of the drawdown or the drawback of theta trades is they at times it's often that they'll have like lower ROIs compared to something like a delta trade or in some cases gamma trades. I'm not exactly sure on the gamma trade side, but definitely like a delta trade. And and so I'm looking to I don't really have a go-to delta trade strategy. I don't have a I don't not only do I not have a go-to one, I am consistently taking theta money from the market, but I am not consistently taking delta money from the market. And that needs to change. Need is a strong word, and actually it's that I am proactively changing it because heck, I'm alive and that's what I want to do, and it doesn't hurt anybody else. So, so I might switch from being more proactively learning day trading strategies right now to swing trading because when I attempted to set up some butterflies on some day trading stuff I was looking at. It was not exciting. There was no excitement. It sucked. It sucked. It sucked. I was like, once I spent a lot of time on the phone with Thinkorswim, um, Thinkorswim, and they on the a lot of time with Thinkorswim on the risk profile, right? I had this guy. He was helping me out, and he was really helping me out. Once he saw that, kind of, I guess, once he saw that I was what I was trying to figure out for myself, he really started helping me and just showing me how to use the risk profile under the Analyze tab, aka also known as risk graphs, showing me how to use that where I needed it. And then I was able to take that information and I kept playing with it and playing with it after that. And over the course of, a couple hours, I'm like, these butterflies are not going to work for what I'm trying to do. Or let me rephrase that. Day trading these butterflies are not going to work for what I'm trying to do. So I think that I'm as I figure out where my buying power is going to be fluctuating around that, and as I start working on different strategies, because I'm going to be actively doing what I've already been doing, like actively doing the shorting the strangles, dialing that in with real money, and then no real money to speculative type of trading. And I don't mean taking a speculative position. I mean kind of like I don't have a strategy dialed in and I'm working on it. I'll use the paper trading for that. But which one am I going to be trying to dial in the past that had been day trading? And that what I was really trying to do is in a day trade figure out a way to get the same results of a butterfly, where if you are right in your timing with a butterfly, you on a low risk, which I think is a net debit, you have a low net debit, but it has this really potential for a big payout. But the problem is the the probability is really low. You have to be really good on timing. And I see that in day trading, I can be really good in timing. However, I'm trying to do option strategies where I have this low risk and a higher payout. So just buying a straight call, I will notice different, issues I was running into because of because of the Greeks of the option for just straight buying. So I was looking at butterfly, but the butterfly really doesn't have an exciting payoff the way that I was setting up on these short day trades. So instead of looking for a suitable option strategy that to fit into this day trading strategy, why reinvent the wheel? Why don't I take a wheel that's already working called the butterfly and adjust my time frame to fit into something that is known to have what I want, this low risk to a potential high return if it is, you know, in the right area, but that right area needs to be timed right. It just happens to be the longer I find that the shorter the time frame is, the easier it is to predict what's going to happen. And so for day trading, I feel very comfortable with that because it's in a very short amount of time. And that's why I sell these short strangles that are naked. I sell them in a week because it's easier to predict that amount of time. And that's why I'm very loose with stocks that I'm doing cash secured put options on because or when I say very loose, what is that? That doesn't really explain what I mean. That's why on the days to expiration on that, or sometimes the strike price, I'm I'm more flexible and loose with, and quick to put it on, especially with the days to expiration and not really the strike price, but how much credit I'm receiving, and um, and I've used that to my advantage to get practical experience under my belt a lot faster and make sure that I was always in the market. And sometimes because I lived in Hawaii and I was 6 hours behind the trading day, and most of the time I was working there, I was living there, I was working full-time jobs to afford living there and build up my trading portfolio and just have more money coming in and you know that type of stuff. it put me in this position where sometimes I just needed to get filled, and I'm just kind of getting filled at whatever price. So, yeah, so now I've got these different spectrum. I'm developing a portfolio that has these different spectrums of risk and maintenance, and I'm funding my life on the lowest risk spectrum. So a lot of people, they're looking at trading that they want to get rich, they want the yachts, they want all this rich stuff, and I'm not doing that. I'm doing get rich means freedom of time. I believe what Robert Kiyosaki mentioned about, or taught, I don't know how you want to word it, but I heard him say before that wealth is measured in time. How many months can you go forward without working while maintaining your current standard of living? That's how wealthy you are. So that's really what I was working on developing. I wanted wealth first, and I think that he just flat out said him and Kim developed wealth, then they worked on getting rich. And rich being defined as making over $1 million a year without working. That's his definition. So, I mean, wealthy to me, I can achieve that faster by lowering my monthly bills and making some sort of money. Like if your monthly bills are low enough, then dividends, can pay your monthly bills. And that is what I basically achieve between the dividends and subsidizing that with, if needed, when needed, with theta trading, selling options in some way, shape, or form. Now, just like the fine example of Mr. Kiyosaki, I need to work on getting rich. So it will maybe come with some effort as far as like without working. Like I'm putting effort into the trading part. So I don't, and I really don't care not if I'm making $1 million a year or more without working. As long as I work the work that I like, the work that I'm doing is something I love, like trading. I'm good, man. I'm good. If I can make $1 million a year trading, that's good. But even if I can't make $1 million a year, even if I'm making, let's say, $200,000 a year or $100,000 a year, if my monthly bills are $25,000 a year, I'm good. I'll buy a lot more dividend stocks. I'm good. And that is if my if my the bar I'm trying to jump over is low, it's easy to jump over that bar. And the happiness, like there's this happiness there. Now, and I want to raise that bar. And that's the other thing I love about um, the Rich Dad Company is that they introduced me to Andy Tanner, and Andy has really helped take this idea that Robert shared. He didn't share it this way, but the message that I took out of it, what I got from it, the way that I personalized it myself, is that I lowered my monthly bills. I kept wanting my monthly bills to be lower. And what Andy has opened my eyes to is that um, monthly expenses or just expenses in general, it's not necessarily bad, because I was looking at that it was bad, and then he opened my mind to higher monthly expenses can mean better quality of life. So that he's always looking to raise his expenses because it means he's having an increased quality of life. And then I realized, like, wow, what have I been robbing myself of? I've been robbing myself of a lot of creature comfort and definitely, something that I've been robbing myself of in that regard. But the payoff that I got is that now I'm trading for a living. I have achieved a certain level of financial independence twofold. One, because I lowered my monthly bills and I got used to having this kind of reduced standard of living is an accurate way to say it. It's not anything that I'm uncomfortable with. I think I have a good life, but there's there's like a compromise. Like I wouldn't drive BMWs. I'm looking for the least expensive cars, and I'm willing to put a big down payment to have my monthly payment where I want it to be, and I'm going out of my way to see which are the cheapest cars to insure at the moment. So I want my lowest insurance payment, living in a smaller apartment versus a bigger one, having like not buying phones as often, riding out phones as long as possible, buying the cheapest phones I can find, basically because they're just need to be replaced anyway. So if I can get a $100 Android phone that or that saves me from buying $1,000 or a 300 iPhone, basically doing the same thing for me and they tend to get dropped no matter what. So why don't I buy something for $100 and drop that versus buying something for 300 or 1,000 and drop that? And what am I really getting if I, pay more money? Just getting like this better. I don't know, sometimes it's a status thing. And in some situations I see where that would be helpful, but a lot of times it's like a better camera or, you're in the Apple system. And nonetheless, 40 minutes of just like blah, 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 blabbering on. And I'm really happy too that I did it. I feel better. I feel like I'm just like was just doing a bunch of talking while I was playing a game and trying to bring someone up to speed with what's going on, and that's all I think about. And there's other aspects that I'm doing besides out of the trading, working on like this content, media content that's just, like this YouTube channel, working on some sort of business, putting together some sort of business part of it. And some people might say, because I thought this at first, that it puts me vulnerable to, well, your website's called Full Time Trader and you're not full time trading, you're making money from something else. Well, at the moment I'm not, but I tell you what, I it's not because I'm not making money trading, but I want to be making more money. I want to be making more money. And I love talking about this stuff. I don't have anyone to talk about this type of stuff with. Not really. Very I would basically say I don't have anyone to talk about this type of stuff with, so I want to be talking about it more. And here it is, YouTube. So now I'm talking about it. I feel talked out. Feel good. I feel like I talked out all the stuff. So you know, so I guess I'll talk to you later. I'm gonna go talk to nobody now. Aloha.